Have you ever been at a dinner table, surrounded by people who know your name, and felt an ache in your chest? Not because you were unwelcome, but because you realized you were performing. You're laughing at the right times. You're nodding. You're holding up your end of the conversation like a heavy glass ornament you're terrified of dropping. And yet, there's this quiet voice in the back of your head whispering, "I'd give anything to be at home, staring at a wall just to stop pretending." But then you go home. The door clicks shut, the silence hits, and suddenly that relief feels a lot like a cold draft. You realize that being alone isn't the poetic sanctuary you imagined. It's just you and the thoughts you were trying to drown out with the noise of others. We spend our lives oscillating between two fears: the fear of being swallowed by the wrong crowd and the fear of being forgotten in the quiet. We're told that who we spend time with defines us, but what happens when the who is no one? There's a line written by George Washington, long before he was a monument or a face on a bill. He was a young man, obsessed with the rules of civility, trying to navigate a world where reputation was everything. He wrote, "It is far better to be alone than to be in bad company." It sounds like a proverb. It sounds like something a grandfather tells you when you're hanging out with the wrong kids in high school. But I want to ask you, before we move any further, don't agree with him yet. Don't take it as a piece of wisdom to be followed. Let's just sit with the friction of it. Is it actually better? Or is that just something we tell ourselves to feel superior about our own isolation? If we look at Washington's words, there's a massive assumption baked into them. It assumes we know what bad company actually is. Does bad company mean people who are cruel, or does it mean people who are just different, people who challenge our comfort? Sometimes we label people as bad company simply because they don't reflect our own ego back to us. And what does it mean to be alone? Is it a physical state or a psychological bunker? I wonder, is Washington suggesting that solitude is a virtue, or is he suggesting that other people are a risk? If I choose to be alone to avoid bad company, am I being brave or am I just being fragile? Am I protecting my character or am I just avoiding the messy, difficult work of human connection? Because let's be honest, being alone is safe. You can't be betrayed in a room by yourself. You can't be judged. You can't be seen for who you really are. Maybe bad company is just the price of admission for being human. We see this playing out in ways Washington could never have imagined. Think about your digital company. We scroll through feeds of people who make us feel inadequate or angry or hollow. We're in bad company every time we open an app that feeds our insecurities, but we stay. Why? Because the alternative, putting the phone down and facing the absolute stillness of a Tuesday night, is terrifying. Or think about the workplace, that group of colleagues you eat lunch with every day. You don't particularly like them. They complain, they gossip, they drain your energy. But the thought of sitting in the break room alone with your sandwich and your own thoughts feels like a public admission of failure. We choose the bad company of toxic relationships or shallow friendships because they act as a buffer. They protect us from the mirror that solitude holds up. We'd rather be miserable with others than be confronted by ourselves. But let's challenge the general for a moment. There's a danger in this quote. If you take it too literally, it becomes a justification for total withdrawal. It's the lone wolf trap. If you spend your life waiting for perfect company, you will spend your life alone. If you discard anyone who is flawed or annoying or difficult, you might find that you've pruned your garden so much that there's nothing left but dirt. Sometimes what we call bad company is actually just friction, and humans need friction to grow. We need people who disagree with us. We need people who are messy. If I am always alone because nobody is good enough for me, maybe I'm the bad company. Maybe the solitude I'm choosing isn't a sanctuary, but a prison I've built out of my own high standards. Is a lonely life of purity really better than a messy life of connection? Take a breath. Think about the people in your life right now. The ones who leave you exhausted. The ones where you have to wear a mask just to survive the conversation. Now imagine walking away from them. Imagine the silence that follows. Is that silence a relief, or does it feel like a weight? I wonder if Washington ever felt the crushing weight of his own advice. To be a leader, to be a figurehead, is often to be profoundly alone, even in a room full of generals. Maybe he wasn't offering a tip for a happy life. Maybe he was offering a survival strategy for a lonely one. What are you more afraid of? The person who drains you, or the person you are when there's no one else around to see you? There is no right answer here. There is no formula for the perfect social circle. If you choose to stay in bad company, you might lose yourself. But if you choose to be alone, you might find that there's no one left to witness who you've become. I don't know which is worse. So next time you find yourself at a party or a meeting, or just sitting on your couch with your phone, ask yourself, am I here because I want to be, or am I just afraid of the silence if I leave? And if you did leave, would you like the person you're left with? I'll leave you with that.